Hot take for the day, boys. Final score 38-16. Auburn Tigers. I feel like Arnold's gonna have a decent day. I see a fumble. I see one fumble on a bad protection on the offensive line. Probably early in the game, first half. Probably just a little lack of communication there. But I think Freeze gets in his ass, and the offensive line's ass, and I think that gets handled quick, and we don't even see a sack the rest of the game. I think it probably happens first quarter. I hope not. But I think something's going to happen with Arnold and the offensive line and probably some kind of turnover. Could be a fumble, could be a pick. Let's just hope it's not detrimental. Let's hope it comes early. And I think Freeze nips it in the butt, and I think they get the message, and I think the rest of the game is pretty clean. I don't think we do too much as far as what we think we're gonna see out of these receivers. I think Freeze thinks I think Freeze has a plan. He wants to go in there. He wants to get everybody, keep everybody healthy. I don't think we're gonna see a whole lot of packages. I hope we just see skilled players being better than their skilled players. That's probably that's the way you win tonight. You let your skilled players be better than their skilled players. Our skilled players are much better than their skilled players, in my opinion. Not taking anything away from the Baylor Bears, but Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons. I want to see flashes of Singleton, but they keep talking about he got a deep thigh bruise injury going on. So I don't know how much we're actually going to see him, and that's fine. Let me see Malcolm Simmons. Let me see Cam a little bit. I really want Perry to touch the football. Let's see, and I'm excited to see what Horatio Fields can do as well. I also want to see my boy, if Damari Austin is not explosive, put Mapson in. I want to see Omar Mapson, your local boy from Auburn High School. I want to see what he can do. All they do is talk about him and how he's the big surprise of fall camp on the offensive side. I want to see what he can do tonight. So if Damari Austin ain't toting that ball like he's supposed to as a senior who's been involved in this program, put Mapson in. Tap out, Amari. When you get tired, when you get tired, tap out. Let's see what Mapson got. Jeremiah Cobb, I want to see if you can do anything, do something. I'm interested to see what the boy Darrell Williams from UConn can do. A lot of questions in the running back room, but good questions, I think. So that's a thing. We all know Freeze doesn't like to really run the ball, which we're learning to deal with that, I guess. But at the same time, I would like to see some of these running backs, kind of establish an identity today. What can we expect from you this year, Damari Austin? What can we expect from you this year, Jeremiah Cobb? And what are you going to bring to Auburn football, Omar Mapson, as far as game day? We don't know. We know what you do at practice, but let's see what you can do on the game day. Let's see how good you can block out the backfield, how you can catch the ball out the backfield, because it's going to be a different story today. Offensive line needs to travel. We're on the road, O-line. It's going to be loud. It's not going to be SEC loud, but it's the first game of the season. They're pumped up. Big win like this will make their season. They don't think Auburn sucks. I bet you that much. Defensive side of the ball. Man, I want to see Auburn football. I want to see lights out Auburn football. I want to see shit talking. I want to see pads popping. Let's try to avoid the targeting and the personal fouls. Let's not get too excited. They like to call roughing the passer. Hands up, you don't have to hit him after he throws the football. It's not that type of football anymore. Keldrick, I know y'all boys are going to be excited. getting in there. But I hope we got some discipline. I hope we got some discipline. I hope we don't see many penalties. Um, play low, play fast. That's what I expect out of the defensive line. I want to see a lot of rotation. I think the leaders on that side of the ball are Falk and Big Block. So I want to see them two kind of lead that bunch and push them folks around out there. Um, let's see, linebackers. Hey. We got two little young bucks that they ready to play. So Robert Woodyard, DeMarcus Riddick, um, and I can't remember Xavier Atkins, LSU transfer. Hey, y'all boys, you better bring the funk, cause I can tell you this much: Brian Diaz and Elijah Mendez and Diaz, they ready to bust some shit. And I ain't just talking about on special teams. They ready to get out there and get behind them D linemen and fill some gaps. From what I hear at fall camp, that Mendez is knocking people's heads off. These boys are scared of him out there, freshmen. And Diaz, he's just the same. So Diaz and Mendez, hey, they coming for your spots if y'all ain't ready. And I ain't just talking about tackling and filling holes and blitzing. See, that's where Eugene Asante had things messed up at the linebacker position. You got to cover. You got to be able to go sideline to sideline. We saw spurts of it with DeMarcus Riddick last year. He just didn't understand the scheme. But his athleticism, what kept him on the field. He had to be on the field because he was that good. He could go sideline to sideline and turn his head and find the ball. We ain't doing this Asante stuff no more. It's out of there. We're not running wide open and not knowing where we're running. No, we're going to play smart football at the linebacker position. I think there's some good depth there. I hope Robert Woodyard's been in the program. He's a senior this year. He's been in the program for about 4 years. I hope Woodyard gets the praise and like they say, the flowers, all that bullshit. I hope he gets what he deserves. But at the same time, hey, this is football. This is big time SEC football. If you can't, you gonna get your shot. You gonna get your shot tonight, buddy. But if you can't handle it, hey, we got some who can. So excited about the linebackers. Excited about Riddick. Excited about what I think DeMarcus Riddick was probably the best linebacker we had last year. He, as a true freshman, he brought a lot of hope to that room. We saw spurts of, you know, old time Auburn linebackers that define the Auburn defense of the past. We saw spurts of players like Carlos Dansby, like Trey Blackman, Travis Williams, Antarius Williams, that sideline to sideline play. Will Herron, we saw we saw that out of him last year as a true freshman. We saw spurts of that. I hope that he can carry that on this year, that there's not a fall off. Some players, they get in there and they work real hard because they want to get on the field. And then when they realize that they own the field and that we got to have them on the field, they kind of rest on their morals. I hope to not see that out of DeMarcus Riddick this year, because just like what I spoke about with Woodyard and the other boys, Xavier Atkins, hey, we ain't discriminating. Melendez and Diaz will come get your spot too, Riddick. So I don't foresee it being like that. But the competition is good for the room, and I think it's gonna have them boys ready to play today. It's time. Hey, and Riddick, you know, it's all good. I love what you said about Milroe, Iron Bowl week, getting us ready for that game. I enjoyed that. I like that attitude. But you got a little redemption this year, buddy. You got a little making up to do, because he burnt your ass last year. He was better than you last year on that day. And that's what you said wasn't going to happen. So he really showed you up. So I hope you come out there with a chip on your shoulder this year, DeMarcus Riddick, and I hope you lay the wood like we know you can, like you're from Chilton County. And last but not least, we're going to move on to the secondary. What a room. What a room. We deep. We 30 deep. You know what I'm saying? We real deep back there. We real deep. I got everybody's high on K and Lee. K and Lee this, K and Lee that. I'm not a K and Lee hater. Never have been. Loved him when he wore number 3 as a freshman. Felt like he earned his way onto the field. Nehemiah Pritchett battled with injuries. Jalen Simpson battled with injuries. He was forced to the fire his freshman year. And he came out there in some big games against some big-time players that went to the NFL and, and stood his ground. Man coverage, we like to run a lot of man coverage at Auburn, leave our corners on the island. They're they're given a tough task every Saturday or Friday in this case. And Kane Lee lived up to that and earned his way into that starting rotation going into last year. And I just feel like, almost like what I talked about with Riddick, when players get there, they, especially young players, there might be that tendency to say, oh, well, yeah, this is kind of like high school. I'm the best player on the team. They got to have me out there. I ain't got to run as hard at practice. I ain't got to hit as hard at practice in the tackling drills. I ain't got to hit the pursuit drill and get to the pylon on the other side of the field as fast as I can. I can take a play off. And I feel like I saw that a little out of K and Lee last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I got a lot of good knowledge out of this game, and I do feel like I saw that. So not that he had a bad year, but there wasn't much of a climb. You talk about freshman and sophomore year. That's supposed to be the biggest step you take as a college football player. Freshman sophomore year. That's supposed to be the biggest leap you take, and I don't feel like he got any better. To tell you the truth, I feel like the tape he put out there, what we saw every Saturday, doesn't show that K and Lee really got much better. I can remember him being burnt in the Cal game, lack of communication with Sylvester Smith, and that shouldn't happen as a stepping into a veteran year, because yeah, he was still a sophomore, but you had your whole freshman season behind your belt, and you were, other than some sorry players like Caleb Wooten, who we saw what happened to him, you were one of the upperclassmen in that room, and I just don't feel like we saw that leadership. I don't feel like we saw that leap that K and Lee should have gave us. So big year for you this year, K and Lee. Big year for you. I expect big things because guess what, K and Lee? I hate to sound like this, but if there ain't big things out of you, you might be ending up like Caleb Wooten. I think you're a lot better than Caleb Wooten, but you might not be. You might be losing some playing time and eventually getting replaced by one or two of these transfers that we got, Rayon Strader and Rayshawn Pleasant. Tell you a little something about those two boys. One came from Tulane, one came from Miami of Ohio. Both play in the back end, both secondary players, corners. They they both had very good years last year. They are both juniors. They both decided to leave their schools and come to Auburn as juniors in college after being successful at these schools. So do you think that they came to Auburn University to sit on the bench? Not likely. Not likely. They ready to play. I think Durkin, I don't think there's any real identified starters. Big Block said on the interview, we ain't got no starters on defense. There's going to be a different 11 every week that steps on that field for the starting at the beginning of the game is whoever earns it at practice that week. And I think K and Lee, I think you're going to slide into that position because of your seniority and what you've done at Auburn so far. But start slipping, and those two, I guarantee you, they just waiting. They waiting at your heels because I think both of them are probably just as talented as K and Lee. And what's going to separate them is that work ethic and that desire and to get on the field because them boys want to go to the NFL. They want to continue playing football. They want to play big time SEC football, and you can't do that sitting on the sideline. So Kay and Lee, I hope to see big things out of you. I hope the competition that I'm pretty sure them boys are bringing out there, I hope that's going to bring that dog out of you. But just know you can be replaced. Jay Crawford, what a great year. They threw you into the fire last year, freshman. Um, you stood up to the plate. You know, got a lot of accolades this summer. Look like you're gonna be all SEC, second team. You know, going into your sophomore season, you're gonna get their best receiver every. You're gonna get the other team's best receiver every game. Put it that way. I think you're ready for it. You know, I do. I hope it's not a situation like Kay and Lee. You know, who last year I thought he was our best corner coming into the season, and you really Jay Crawford really outshined Kay and Lee, you know, in that type of way. So yeah, I like Jay Crawford over there on the island, 23 Island. You know, handle your business. Handle your business. Keep doing what you're doing. I like how Jay Crawford plays. You know, and we got depth there. We got depth there. If it ain't them two, Rayon Strader and Rayshawn Pleasant, Blake Woodby, true freshman. Been hearing good things about him in fall camp. Donovan Starr, corner. Been hearing good things about him. These are names to look for this year, fellas. These are names to look for in that secondary coming that are going to be in this program and they're going to get there. Donovan Starr, Blake Woodby, Eric Winters. You know, these are some names. Secondary, headed back to the safeties. Sylvester Smith plays hard, real hard. I expect big things out of him this year. You know, kind of consistent play. He's a smart player, got a nose for the ball. He may not be as athletic as some of these guys, but you got to keep him on the field because he's got a nose for the ball and he's a dog. Champ Anthony's coming back. We're excited to see him. Big homecoming for Champ. You know, sad injury last year, but you know he hung in there. He got his legs back up under him. Got the ACL taken care of. You know, and when we play Arkansas, because I think they're on the schedule this year. I could be wrong. If we play Arkansas, boy, y'all better have something for their ass because of what they did to Champ last year. That's all I got to say on that topic. Caleb Harris, think he's going to be a great safety. Reminds me a lot of typical of historic safeties at Auburn. He reminds me a lot of Zach Etheridge, Junior Rose Green. You know, he's big. He comes down here. Jeremiah Denson. He reminds me of those type of players that played safety at Auburn. Darren Bates. You know, he's big. He's physical. He likes playing around the line of scrimmage. You know, almost like he's almost like a rover. You can put him at a lot of places. He's got a nose for the football, a lot like Sylvester Smith was a player last year. You know, you couldn't keep him off the field, and that's how I feel like he's going to be again this year. I think he's a hard worker, and I think that he's going to blossom at Auburn and make a lot of big plays, and I really feel like he might be a leader in that back end, to tell you the truth. So looking for big things out of Caleb Harris and Sylvester Smith at the safety position. We got depth back there. We do have depth. Hey, you gonna see him. You gonna see him. Anquan New Boy Fagans, the new boy. You gonna see him this year. You gonna see him. Big 21. You hear me like smoke. You look for that 21 because you're not gonna be able to keep him off the field. He's a five-star talent. You know, Georgia can keep KJ Bolden. I like Anquan Fagans. You know, so yeah, look for Anquan Fagan. Big things out of him, and yeah, let's hope McPherson can kick field goals if he can't. And goddamn, let's hope Magoo can. And if neither one of them can, let's just go for it, Freeze. I think that's the biggest question headed into this season. Can 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 Hugh Freeze actually coach football? You're not gonna have any more excuses, Freeze. I mean, we got 5-star talent everywhere. You went and got your players. You got receivers. You got your quarterback. You got Deuce behind Jackson Arnold. You know, you got what you want, Freeze. You got what you said you needed. Get you into this third season. Get your players. Good recruiting classes. Good. You got your staff in there. You're calling plays. You're running your system, and it's time to step up to the plate, Freeze. You know, if it doesn't work, I'm not looking at Cam Coleman. I'm not looking at Jackson Arnold. I'm not looking at damn DeMarcus Riddick or Keldrick Falk. I'm not looking at the special teams coach who forgot that Coy Moore uh and Keontae Scott wore the same number. I'm not looking at them anymore. I'm looking at you, Freeze. Tanner Burns, that was the special teams coach. I'm not looking at them this year, Freeze. I'm looking at you. This is your year. And if it don't blossom, then I think it's time to rewrite this ship. And I think it's time to part ways with that ass. And I think it's John Gruden time. I think it's Deion's gonna get tired at Colorado eventually. He's gonna want to come to the SEC. I think it's big name, big daddy, big SEC, big NFL experience. You know, it's it. Alabama became successful because they went and got Nick Saban. Georgia became successful because they went and got Kirby Smart. They went and got big time names, not mediocre, ain't never won anything, but had a couple good seasons and good recruiting classes. No, they went and got proven names. So if this doesn't work this year, it's time to put your money where your mouth is, Auburn, and go get a proven name. That's what I got for y'all boys, man. Y'all tune in next week. I hope we got something to look forward to. I hope we sitting 1-0, headed back home to Jordan Hare Stadium. Excited to see the boys. We got that all white. You know I like that all white. We got that all white everything in that Nike today. They're gonna be looking clean. They're gonna be smack talking. It's time to restore the pride back in Auburn, baby. War down, Eagle in this bitch.